Hi guys, today I'm doing a really fun video, and this is a my first boyfriend video. And I did, I think, my first kiss, and I did my first period, and other my first things. If you want other ones, let me know in a comment, but this is my first boyfriend, so if you want to see or hear my story about that, then please keep on watching. Okay, so obviously there was little crushes and boyfriends that were like 2nd grade and preschool and stuff like that, but this was the first time I had like true emotions, or at the time I thought they were true emotions, and my first boyfriend was in 6th grade. Now, I was a really romantic kid. When I was young, I had huge crushes on boys. I was way head over heels from a really young age. I've had a lot of crushes throughout the years, but in 4th or 5th grade, I think I started crushing on this boy. I don't want to give his name away, but so I really started crushing on him a lot. I think in 4th grade, and then 5th grade, we were in class together. He was not the guy that everyone liked. All my friends were like, why do you like him? He's not even cute. He wasn't like the popular guy that everyone liked. He was kind of sarcastic and rude, and that was what I was into even then. He had like a shaved bald head. He had like the thickest glasses ever, and he was really skinny. It was just, he was my type at the time. So I really liked him for the longest time, and in 5th grade, I was crazy. If I went back right now to that time, knowing what I know now, I'd be like, hey, you're crazy. Honestly, no wonder he didn't like me. I was a lunatic. Oh my god. I was sure 100% he was going to be like the man of my dreams. I knew a lot about him. I feel like I chatted with him once in a while, and so I knew he really liked the New York Giants. So I literally got the pad of paper that had like a Giants logo on it, like you would get your dad for like a stocking stuffer or something, and I would write him like love notes and put them in his desk nearly every day, at least once a week, and I'd want him to respond. I feel like once in a while he might have actually responded and just been like okay or like thanks or something, but I would write him love notes like straight up. I wish I still had some of these because I would probably make the weirdest video ever cringing about that, but I swear listen, I'm telling you, I was in 5th grade. I was probably 10 or 11 years old. That's really young. This was like 15 years ago almost now. I would write him things like, we're gonna be together one day, you'll always be the guy at the back of my mind. I would always say stuff like that to him. No matter who I end up with later on in life, if it's not you, you'll always be the person I'm thinking about. I was an insane person. I even once made a cassette tape, either of me singing because I wanted to be a singer back then, or it was just me like talking. I was like Janice in that episode of Friends, and I gave it to him. I put him in his desk, and I don't remember him ever responding to that. He might have, but I honestly don't remember at all. But I know a couple years later I had talked to him, and he was like, yeah, I still have that. Maybe it wasn't even years later, but it was a while later, and he was like, yeah, I still have that. I'm like, oh my god, burn it. That's so embarrassing. And I remember he liked cars a lot. He was like really into cars, and I honestly don't know nonsense about cars, but I would learn all the cars' names, so me and him could play that game in class. You'd give a name of car that starts with an A, and then a B, and then a C, and like go back and forth. I liked everything he liked, and that lasted all through 5th grade. And then 6th grade came along, and 6th grade was the year that we had our first dance in middle school. It wasn't a fancy, you didn't get dressed up, it was a chill dance from like 6 to 8 p.m. or something. This was kind of when people first started dancing together, like slow dancing and kind of grinding grossly, where teachers go around you and everyone had to make a circle so teachers couldn't see it. So we danced at that dance. I think I danced with a couple of people. We had danced to like a fast song and a slow song, and during that night I was like, oh my god, why is he asking me to dance? He doesn't like me. And then all of a sudden he asked me out. He either said, do you want to go out or do you want to be my girlfriend? And either one it was, I was of course like, duh, seriously, or did you really think I was gonna say no? And I was over the moon. Honestly, even if someone asked me out now that I really liked, I'm sure I wouldn't be that happy. And this was like in 6th grade where you're dating someone, you don't even do anything, and I don't remember seeing him like the rest of that night. So that was a Friday night, and then over the weekend I think we must have talked on the phone, and this was house phone time. I didn't get a cell phone until I think 8th grade. It's like where you call this person's house phone, talk to their mom, be like, is he home? Yeah, it was crazy. I remember sitting in my parents' room on the landline with the string on it. This was a long time ago. And we had also, I think, made plans for that following Friday after the dance to go see a movie. I swear, this just popped into my head. I didn't even write it down when I was writing notes about this story, so I didn't forget anything. The movie we were going to see was Agent Cody Banks with Hilary Duff. Yeah, Agent Cody Banks. Oh my god, that was so long ago. I wish I still had my diaries from back then. Oh my god, it would be gold. It's embarrassing gold, but gold. Then Monday morning came along, and I don't think that we had any classes together in 6th grade. Maybe there's just gym, I think. It was either Monday or Tuesday. One of those days we had gym together. And I remember seeing him talking to a girl in the gym that I knew that he had liked or liked the year before. Someone told me, and they lived really near each other, and she was really pretty, and she was like the popular girl that everyone liked. And when I saw him talking to her, I was of course like crazy hormone jealous. I wanted all the drama that you see on TV in relationships. So I remember calling him after school and being like, oh my god, you were flirting with her. And he's like, what am I not supposed to be able to have friends or something? It was way over dramatic. So Wednesday at lunch, we're just sitting at lunch, having lunch with my friends, and he came up to my table and was like, we're breaking up. That, like, in quotes, I could quote that. He said, we're breaking up. And I just remember being like, oh, what? Yeah, I was floored, and I remember going to the bathroom crying. I'm sure I was in the bathroom for way too long, crying. I'm pretty sure I cried at like every dance after that through middle school too. But I remember crying and telling my friends, like when I would talk to them about it, I would say, why did he say we're breaking up? Obviously we're not breaking up, he's breaking up with me. Like that. I remember constantly saying that. Why did he say we're breaking up? Because that means we're mutually breaking up, but he broke up with me. This was a 5-day relationship, guys. So my first boyfriend lasted 5 days. I think I had called him that night or like a couple nights later and like to make sure we weren't still going to the movie on Friday, and I was like, why did you ever ask me out if you were just gonna break up with me 5 days later? What's even the point of that? And what he said was, I just want to make you happy. And I was like, and I remember saying almost these exact words. There's like a specific memory in my brain saying, why would you want to bring me all the way up and make me super happy only to bring me all the way down? Like, I was totally fine at the dance, just dancing with you and not asking me. Like, I didn't even think you were going to ask me out. By asking me out and then breaking up with me 5 days later, like, what would even be the point of that? And then I found out that one of my friends had actually threatened him to ask me out, which really pissed me off. I was kind of mad at her for doing that. I think it was him who told me that she said, I'm going to break your glasses if you don't ask her out. And I was just like, why would you do that? That just made me even more upset. Like, why would you force him to ask me out when he didn't want to? Because obviously then we were gonna break up. Like, it was really annoying. It was a pretty sad time for me. But that was kind of the story of my first boyfriend. But to carry that story out just a little bit, I never moved, he never moved. So I was in school with him for years and years and years, which is just embarrassing to know that he knew I wrote all those dumb love letters to him and had to still walk by me in the hallway. But in 7th grade, I think it was in 7th grade, the beginning of 7th grade, I'm pretty sure, or it was the end of 6th grade, I filled an entire marble notebook with kind of almost like a diary entry. I wish I still had this. It was a diary entry, but it was like meant to him. I wrote like a full novel to him saying how I felt, and within these pages were questions for him. I would put multiple choice answers and little boxes asking him to fill them in, and I'd be like, on every page, like, you don't have to answer, only if you want to. And I gave him this book one day at his locker and just kind of walked away. When I got it back, a few of the answers were answered. I think one of the ones was, I like you as a friend. I put in a question like, do you like me? And then I put little bubbles like, as a friend, as a girlfriend, more, you don't like me at all. And I think he put like me as a friend. I think he was just being polite. Obviously, he thought I was a lunatic. Think about that. If you did that now to someone, wouldn't they think you were like totally a stalker? And I definitely was. I was so a stalker. A while later, I ended up liking someone else and I moved on from him. I got over it, whatever, no big deal. Got to high school, still saw him. I don't think I had any classes with him in high school until senior year. And senior year we had English class together and we debated a lot in English class. We definitely were never on the same side of the situation, and I remember being like, thank God that never worked out. We definitely clashed a lot. But then, like 2 or 3 years ago now, I went on Bumble before I was off dating apps. And I think I was probably on it for like a weekend. And he came up on my thing and I was like, oh my God, that's so weird. So I swiped right. I think it was right? It was accepting, like saying yes, because I thought it would be funny if he swiped right on me. Of course he didn't, because why would he? Obviously they still think I'm insane, which I probably am. But so I swiped right on him and I never got a response. So I actually went, like, I don't know what I was probably, it was like a lonely Saturday night with my cats eating like a bunch of junk food and watching Netflix, and I was lonely and bored. So I messaged him on Facebook because we'd been Facebook friends for ages, and I was like, I know this is kind of awkward, but I just thought it was super funny that you popped up on my Bumble. The way the world rotates. I said something like, what a coincidence, it's so funny. And he actually responded to me. We had like a really quick little chat. He took forever to answer, way too long. He was definitely not interested in speaking to me whatsoever. I said something like, I'm really not as crazy as I seemed back then, I'm so sorry about that. And he was like, oh no, it's fine, whatever. And I asked him like if he had ever met anyone on Bumble before, and we had like a little chat, and it really like shut down super quick because we did not click. Like, you know how sometimes you can text people and the conversation's just flowing and you're typing and it's all like blah 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 and you just like never want it to stop? It was not like that. It was so uncomfortable. Like, I would ask something and he wouldn't answer the right way, and he would ask something and it didn't really make sense, and like it just was so disconnected. And I'm really glad that never worked out. I really hope he doesn't watch this, because to be honest, I think he's a little bit stuck up. I think he's a little frat boyish. That's just my opinion, and we're definitely not friends. I mean, we're friends on Facebook, I think, still, unless he blocked me or something. Yeah. that was my first boyfriend. So that was 6th grade, and I was around 11 years old, and it lasted for 5 whole magical days. I just thought I would share that story. I think it's really funny. But if you did like this, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Check out my other videos kind of similar to this. Please subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Thank you so much for watching.